Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah who came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is indeed thine exalted Christ. And I furthermore indeed bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder, leader, teacher, and guide, the Messiah of the day. I greet you all in the nation greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. All praises are due to Allah. On behalf of Brother Albert Muhammad and the Let Us Make Man family, as always, family, we continuously thank you for your support. We thank you for taking a few moments of your time to watch the videos, read our posts, support our cause, our efforts in the plight of the black community. We can never thank you enough. I'm going to do all the best that I could to not consume much of your time at all in regards to this particular session that I'm attempting to do at this point in time. The subject matter, the title, a goddamn title of this particular session. And I do apologize for the strongness in terms of the title. But before I even get started, let me say this. I fast and pray Allah for your mercy, your sympathy and empathy, if for whatever reasons that there's some sense of emotions or feelings or things of that nature relevant to this particular subject at hand. This particular post is dealing with two young black women. Obvious this story, this crime had took place some time ago, and the individuals that was actually involved with the situation obviously are facing court and trial at this point in time. One was already convicted, and it so happened to be black men. 3 black men at that, right? And so I want to say this before I get started, because when I say a goddamn title, I'm not talking about the Nation of Islam, or I'm speaking of black organizations, period. Black people in general. We got bigger problems, family, as you can already see with this particular case. Now, it's interesting because this case really didn't get too much national attention. So we just got whiffed of this, obvious, during the trial of the individuals that was actually charged in the trial. It is clear, or it appears, that these 2 young ladies were sisters. One was 19 years old, Vanetta Richardson, and the sister, Clarice Campbell, was 30 years old. So only those that was involved with this particular situation know exactly why they did what they did, X, Y, Z. But the thing is that though I don't personally know neither one of these sisters, but in my heart, in my spirit, Almighty God Allah is continuously sending us divine messages and divine warnings, and he's using certain examples that we get these messages and we get these warnings so we can realize and see what we really dealing with. You see, the people of old, the people of Noah, they rebelled against the flood when the word was coming. The people of Moses, when he parted the Red Seas according to the scriptures, those who didn't believe in the authority that was given to him by Almighty God Allah, they drowned in the Red Seas. And those who rebelled in the city of Lot, they suffer with those who rebel against God. So even the righteous will suffer with the unrighteous for our continuous rebellion. So it's at the end of the day, when you look at this situation, let's look at the lack of compassion, the lack of mercy that was extended to these women when they went through whatever they went through before they took their last breath of life. That kind of level of hate and rejection and despiseness that we exhibit towards one another. So at the end of the day, we have big problems on our hand, brother, and we call it self-hatred. When you can take and murder someone, and then on top of murdering them, discard the corpse. No respect to the body at all. Discard the corpse in a way, putting bags over their head and tossing their bodies over bridges. That murder must have took place in Alabama, according to the reports that's given, wherever this bridge was at, where they found these young ladies and these bodies. But the sad part about it is that you would throw them over the bridge and assume that nobody's going to find them. So as a professional scuba diver, that's right, your little brother is a professional scuba diver, and I worked with a couple different agencies in the past, and I learned a whole lot about how you cannot hide nothing in the water, because it will be found ultimately, whether somebody finds it just by walking past, or if you have to dive and go get the bodies to find the bodies, they will find the bodies. But the sad reality is when our people, how people have gotten to the degree where we have no compassion, no empathy, no mercy. What did these women do that caused these three individuals to assassinate and murder them? However they murdered the sisters, I fast and pray they didn't suffer long, but how would I know? Because it took some time for them to do whatever they did. Then they decided to take the bodies and throw the bodies over the bridge. No compassion, no mercy, no empathy, no sympathy at all. What has gotten into us as a people? Why is it that those of us who are still fighting for acknowledgement, fighting for recognition, fighting for titles and descriptions in various black organizations, various black nationalist groups, various pro-black groups, various religious groups, all of us are fighting over titles and descriptions. And while we're doing that, this is what we're literally doing to each other. Now, if these young ladies were murdered by white people for whatever reasons, we would be going all out. The story would have been all over. Why did this story get concealed to the degree that we're just finding out? For those of us who are just finding out, of course, the people that within the community and the family and the friends of these two young ladies obviously knew and heard about the situation. But the point that I'm addressing with this is the lack of love, the lack of compassion that we have for one another as a people. What has happened to black people over the last 30 to 40 years that we murder each other with no empathy, no sympathy, no mercy, no compassion at all? Not only did they murder the sisters, they put bags over their heads. Then they dumped the bodies over the bridge, right? But then as I read before I even started this video, did a brief research on the situation, come to find out one of the individuals that was a part of this trial, the murder trial, which is Desmond Brown, just received life in prison for his participation in regards to this crime that was committed. So life in prison says I will live the rest of my life in whatever state that it happened in, be it Atlanta, be it Georgia or Alabama. I will live the rest of my life with comfort in prison, and the citizens of those states will provide for me after taking the life of two beautiful black women. And the problem is our lack of love and compassion for one another won't allow us to show empathy or sympathy to our people or to each other to the degree that we can create the kind of atmosphere that can control our community, that we can take care of our own. What is going on with us that we have to have some sort of title, some sort of description, no matter what your organization is, what group that you're involved with? We have lost love for one another. I thank Allah for Almighty God, Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad and raised the most honorable but Elijah Muhammad, the risen Christ. And we thank the both of them for their extension and their mercy and leaving for us a divine reminder in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because there's no way I would be able to sit here and share this type of energy that I share in regards to this particular video that I'm doing in regards to these two young sisters. Now, I don't see, after we put the post up, we don't see too much sympathy because we done lost that for one another, family. We are killing each other so much till it has become the norm in the black community. Why is that? Why is it that it has become normal? Do you have any idea of how many black men, women, and children are missing, that have gone missing, and countless black men, women, and children have gone missing, and still there's no compassion for our missing. There's no organized bodies to help find our missing women and children and men to that degree. What's happened to our people that we have gotten to this degree where we lost the love and compassion for one another to the degree that we don't even give a damn? But those of us who like titles and descriptions and recognition, that's more important to many of us, to be seen amongst men or to be heard, to be recognized on your social media platform. How many hits, how many views? If one person listened to this video, I'm humble. I'm thankful that one person took the time to listen to what we're sharing. It's not about me. It's not about your little brother. I'm not your minister. I never Again, I constantly say this. I never come off like that or put myself in that position. I don't even speak like that. My energy comes from a different source. That is the power of Almighty God Allah. I'm just your little brother, but I have the courage and the heart to sit here and share some of the things and say it in a way where some of us are afraid to, because out of fear, we don't want to deal with the repercussion that comes behind of what we say and what we do. But I stand under the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If I was to ever be anything in the Nation of Islam, and someone said, well, Brother Albert, what is it that you want to do in the Nation of Islam? I want to follow the path of my leader. What do you mean by that? You all say you want to follow the path of your leader. Let me explain to you what I meant by that. I once heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that when he became a member of the Nation of Islam, that his biggest goal was to help the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad set up study groups all across the nation. And when I heard that coming from the minister, immediately that was my goal. If it's anything that I could do in the Nation of Islam, despite a title, anything of that, no, I don't need all that. All I would like to do is be in a position where I can travel throughout the wilderness of North America and help my nation, helping my minister set up study groups across America. Why? Because a study group gives our people an option, an opportunity to escape the wilderness and the darkness in North America. We have become savages in the pursuit of happiness, and we don't want to accept it. We don't want to face our realities. Everybody want to get on a social media platform because they pay you when you're on Twitter. They pay you when you are on TikTok and you're on YouTube and you become the new buffoons, the buffoons with the buffoonery now. Because you know if you put up enough of buffoonery, you'll get a check, XYZ. Or what that page they got, my fans on my OnlyFans, my fans only, or something to that effect. You know if you put up enough of buffoonery, you'll get paid. We don't get paid for this. We don't get paid for showing love and compassion to two beautiful young black women that would have their life snuffed out. For what reason? Only the individuals involved can explain why they felt the need, the desire to destroy these young women. The one was only 19 years old, may have begged for mercy for her life, and yet no, there was no mercy, there was no sympathy. So I wonder how these individuals feel that you murdered these women, because now you go into the courtrooms in America and you can play as innocent as you want to be, but deep down inside you'll never replace these two young ladies that lost their life in the midst of all this madness that took place, that was actual reasons for them being murdered. Their bodies would be discovered the next morning, May 13th, 2020. That's how long ago this was. Wow, that's how long ago this, by a Georgia Department of Transportation crew on a bank under the East Rome Bypass Bridge near the bank of the river, you know the language, Edgewater River near Gracie Park. So that's how long ago this situation really was. This is 3 years we talking. 3 years we talk. It's 2023 now. This happened in 2020. I'm just getting the width of it, and I'm sure those who are listening to it probably just getting the width of it. But that's not much a lack of love. And just imagine how many of us have we killed since then? How many of us have we killed amongst our own since then? Think about it. So where's the love? Where's the compassion for our people that we seem to have no compassion at all, no love, no empathy, no sympathy? It's a sad reality, family. But at the end of the day, we must reevaluate our thought patterns. We must reevaluate our state of minds so that we can figure out how we can come together and unite under one umbrella of freedom, justice, and equality. Because having a title doesn't make you nothing. A title is nothing. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said there's many, one of the best titles that we can have is brother and sister, family. If just take away the religious stuff, brother and sister is one of the best titles we can have. There's many, there's others, but one of the best titles we can have is brothers and sisters, and have love and compassion for each other. And now these individuals, and it's sad because, as I'm looking at the photos of the individuals that was actually involved, we claim all this gangster, all this thug, but all we do is kill off each other. And when you kill black women like that, you should be held accountable. I'm not talking about no prison time. I'm not talking about no prison time. We have to unite an army of soldiers that are willing to stand up for what we know is right and what we know is true, and protect our own and do for self. Because if not, we will continue to see the heartless crimes being committed. That with that being said, as I said, I'm not going to take much of your time, but this story, obviously, the murder took place 3 years ago, right? 3 years ago. They just being sentenced today. That's how long it took. So for 3 years, they sat comfortably. They took someone's daughter. They took someone's sister. They took someone's mother. They took someone's auntie. They took someone's cousin. For what, man? How did we become so devious, so devilish in our thoughts today as black men? What is it about women that you feel you have to control a woman? Why do we get with women and we get in a dissatisfied situation with her and we feel we have to demand complete control of something that we don't even own? These are the people of God, man. We don't control a woman. So we don't really know the situation that actually occurred that caused this type of crime. And it was 3 people involved. It wasn't one person that did it. It was 3 people involved with the crime that literally took these women life. Desmond Brown was one of the culprits in the crime, and now he's gonna live the rest of his life out in Christopher Poland. That's another one. It's 3 of them. Let me get the other name of the other individual that was actually involved with this sad crime. Devin LaShawn Watts, Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. So wherever Cherokee County is, you know exactly where that is. It's either somewhere in Georgia or Alabama. The bodies was found on the border, so to speak. But this is the lack of compassion and love. When you look at them, they show no compassion. They show no, even 3 years later after doing the crime, you would let them tell you that I didn't do nothing wrong. Nah, killing black women is nothing. We shouldn't have to pay for that. They did this, they did that, so we did this, we did that. And that's how we look at each other. But that's not how Almighty God Allah is raising us, the Muhammadins in the Nation of Islam, the Muslim. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is in the process of making saviors out of us. We must take this knowledge and wisdom that we are acquiring within the Nation of Islam to our people, that they stand some sort of opportunity, a chance to have empathy or sympathy or mercy towards one another. I'm not going to talk you till you blue in the face on this situation. I just wanted to address it because it was sitting on my mind too heavy. Just the thought of these women going through what they might have went through, and we don't know if they was actually dead when they hit the water or not. But more than likely, they were probably dead when they hit the water. But again, we don't have it when it comes down to black men in general organizations. We don't have nothing. God is power and force. So at the end of the day, we don't exercise power and force at all. Anytime we need to get something done, we have to resort to our so-called open enemies because they exercise the power and force. They put the dive team together. They got all the equipment that was able to pull these young women out of the water. We haven't organized anything to say this is it, that's enough. We make trillions of dollars a year in the black community, and we blow trillions of dollars in a heartbeat over the most minute and the silliest things possible, instead of truly working on building a nation within a nation that we can do for self. We should have a dive team. We should have a fire department. We should have a police department. We should have a sheriff department that represents us. And we should have no mercy on anyone that commit heinous crimes like this against our women and children. Because if they were white, you'd be raising hell. All hell would have broke loose if these individuals was white. But because they're not white, it stayed silent for that long. You're talking 3 years already. Here it is, 2023, right? I got women in my family. I got sisters in the nation, XYZ. The last thing I want to hear is they found somebody's body in the lake or something like that, in the river, and then it was because of someone who decided that they would take this person's life with no empathy, no sympathy, or no mercy at all. We don't know what these sisters might have got themselves into, but Who am I to say that they deserve such a tragic way of leaving the earth? I remiss in my duty, totally out of order to make that kind of statement. So I didn't get on this to just be seen amongst men and talking to you below in the face. I'm looking at the pictures of this young lady, especially the one that's 19 years old, to haven't even begin life yet. To put a bag over her head and throw her in the lake. And as a professional scuba diver who has the experience of pulling bodies in, so a lot about your little brother you just don't know. I think most of you think I just get on here and be a hothead and just ramble on. It is what it is. But, I don't control your thinking. When Allah inspires me to do this, I do it out of divine inspiration. I feel it's divine inspiration. Your feelings is your feelings. It is what it is. I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. But what we owe our people is to get the information out to our people, not 3 years later, because God knows there's countless missing men, women, and children in the black community that's not even talked about. Children being kidnapped, men being kidnapped, young boys being kidnapped. What have we set up as a community? Not the Nation of Islam. This doesn't fall solely on the Nation of Islam. This falls on black people as a whole. All these so-called pro-black groups, nationalists, XYZ, we got it all out there. We got multiple podcasts that we can actually utilize to keep our people informed. Why don't we create podcasts to utilize to keep our people informed how to find our people, how to create opportunities that we can help each other? It is what it is. So I'm not going to ramble on and just keep going on and on and on. Just wanted to make my point because we put the post up with these sisters here in regards to them losing their life. This was 3 years ago when the crime itself actually took place. What kind of hate? 33 witnesses and 130 pieces of evidence were introduced during the 7-day trial. Brown was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole on November the 27th. 33 witnesses and 130 pieces of evidence? Do you mean to tell me 33 people sat there and watched them kill them 2 women? This case was made possible by the cooperation between multiple agencies, many thanks to the many individuals who played a part in this investigation and prosecution. Also a special thanks to GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation Special Agent G. Wilson, and the Floyd County District Attorney's Office. The families of the victims have been diligent during this process. They love Vanetta and Trevina, and are committed to seeing the process through. Many people do not realize how difficult this process is on families who have lost their loved ones in a brutal and horrific way. Our prayers continue for them through this holiday season in Cherokee County District Attorney Summerford. So we're not going to know what it feels like to lose somebody in a horrific way. We don't know what they did to them women. To justify whatever reasons they did what they did. We're not going to know that. But at the end of the day, they did what they did. And them sisters are no longer here. But the learning point for us is that we have to decide and come to some sort of conclusion and mercy and empathy towards one another and stop the things that we do to bring each other down. I mean, if you do something on your own, you create your own atmosphere. But even in creating your own atmosphere, there should be some sympathy and empathy or mercy towards each other and not always want to badger and beat each other to death. So I'm just saying, I know the title is hard, a goddamn title, this particular subject. But I want to make it clear, this is not referring to any particular group or organization per se. Because a lot of us jump the gun. We good for that. Scandal and gossip. Nothing else to do. That's what we like to do. Who Brother Albert think he is? I don't think I'm nobody but who I'm supposed to be. I'm just a little fella. I'm not trying to elevate myself. Either you greet me or you don't. That's your option, man. You can sit here and listen to this, or you can log out. That's your option. But I know by the great the mercy of Almighty God Allah, it will get to the people that have compassion and mercy and are looking to create atmospheres and opportunities for our people that we can help each other in times of need and sorrowful moments like this. This is 3 years old. But even though it's 3 years old, it still has a profound effect on anybody with a conscience that these young sisters went through. The other sister was 30. That's young. 30 is not old. That's young. 19, that's a baby. That's a baby. 19 is a baby. That's it. She just started life and they took the girl life. Now they're going to live for the rest of their life off the state and the taxpayers. Nah. You kill my dog, I kill your cat. What's good for the goose is what's good for the gander. We have to stop, family. We have to take charge of our own. And we have to hold each other accountable. You don't just murder 2 black women like that and then discard their body in such a disrespectful way. I don't know the family. I don't know the sisters, so I'm not doing that for them. I'm doing it because I feel that Almighty God Allah has inspired me to sit here and share what little I can share. That's it. Who authorized it? God. Whether you believe it or not. It is what it is. With that being said, I'm not going to belabor the point and keep going on and on and on. I'm going to end this video and thank all of those who took the time out just to chime in. But it's not about me, family. It's really looking at the situation. It's really pulling the story up and reading and learning on what happened to these young ladies. 33 witnesses. If there were 33 witnesses, you mean to tell me out of 33 witnesses, depending on what they saw, couldn't stop this kind of crime from taking place? Something wrong, family. We have lost total and complete love for one another. We're moving on the path of the 85%. Poison animal eaters, slaves for mental depth and power, easily led in the wrong direction and hard to be led in the right direction. For those of you that's in the Nation of Islam, you know the lesson, and deep down inside, you probably saying to yourself, man, I know the lesson, brother, but you ain't saying that. That's fine. That's your arrogance. That's your ignorance. But there's people who really don't understand the divine teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad. This is why we advise those listeners to tap in to NOI.org. On the webcast, whatever city, whatever state that you in, if there's a study group, if there's a mosque, don't be ashamed to go and visit the brothers and the sisters. Don't be ashamed to sit in the study group. The best class for me in the Nation of Islam is the study group. On Sundays, you get a general lecture. But at study group, you get an opportunity to chime in and learn what the Nation of Islam is truly all about. Self-improvement is the basis for community development. There's no way in the hell we can help nobody. We don't get ourselves together. I said we collectively. I didn't say you, them, they, we. Not excluding myself under by any circumstance, by no means, put it that way. So pardon the fast talk, because it's so much I really wanted to say to this situation, but sometimes silence is golden, and it's best to say little or nothing at all. And in this case, it's really only a little that I can say. And the most important part in regards to this is that we learn and we begin to get on the path of love for one another, love for our community, love for self. Because self-improvement is the basis for community development. We must learn to rise above emotions into the thinking of God. Our people are emotional people, and most of the 99.9%, we move off of emotions. That's what we move. We move off of emotions, and so we must learn how to rise above emotions into the thinking of God. And overcoming difficulties. These are the challenges that we have as a people. And when you attend the study groups in the Nation of Islam, you learn of these things, right? And so you learn how to, challenge these obstacles that are in our way. As a people, we're emotional. As soon as somebody say something, we get turned up. And some of us get turned up to the fifth power, start cursing and like that really intimidates. That really don't intimidate. It may intimidate some people, but it really doesn't intimidate a lot of people. Most of the time, a wise person would just sit back and look at the foolishness and, accept the reality of you are who you are, the fool that you are. But at some point, we have to stop talking and preaching. We have to stop. Enough of the preaching, enough of the talking, man. I use this platform as an opportunity to share what little knowledge that I can share. That's it. I'm not trying to be no minister. I'm not trying to run nobody's city. I'm not trying to teach nobody anything. I'm just sharing the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as is taught today by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's it. When I tap in, that's it. You don't see me trying to teach you nothing or anybody anything, because that's not what this platform is about. It's regards to the plight of the black community. So we're trying to put information, as much information out that will be productive for our people, that our people can utilize, that they can tap into the Let Us Make Man program and say, man, I just listened to brother and I got that. You know what I mean? I'm on my way to the study group. Brother Albert, once again, what do you want? You want to be, if anything that I can do in my nation that will help my nation, black people in America, is to be able to set up study groups across America like my teacher has done and wanted to do when he first came, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He said that's all he wanted to do. He had no intentions of being no minister, no captain, no none of that. All he wanted to do was set up study groups. When I heard him say that, I immediately adapt that mindset. And I also know and understand, in order for me to personally do that, I must be financially stable. No, that don't mean begging for money. I can work, like I'm a worker. I work hard. So I know Allah, the God within me, will bless me financially and stabilize me, inshallah, be it the will of God, so I can accomplish that goal to be able to go across America and just set up study groups. Our people need some sort of cell they can tap into, because we're hurting right now. We're hurting. And to know that these young ladies was murdered like that, this is just one case. There's multiple cases, and probably more tragic than this. How long we're going to continue to allow this to go on and blame everybody else for our lack of love and respect for each other. I thank you for listening. I leave you as I came before you in the nation. Great words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.